Hi, my name is Bishop J. Rhone. I do assistant teaching here at Huntington Beach High School for the Academy of the Performing Arts, specifically for the MMET Media Team program. Beyond the curricular activities I do here, I also work with the Henson Company on some of their live event production shows. I usually do live event concerts. So live event production is things where there are events that are happening and they're being filmed live and not something where it's scripted, right? So I've directed concerts before, I've directed a lot of stuff at the OC Fair before, some comedy shows, stuff like that, as well as I'm writing and directing my own short film currently right now. I've been actually pretty blessed to have multiple instructors here at the program. And I've been here from when, Mr. Knight used to be here and used to teach, and he didn't teach media team, but I learned a lot about leadership from Mr. Knight, right? Kind of being calm, considerate, careful, and watching everyone to make sure socially we're all, on board, which is something as a director you need to be able to do, both in live event production, and on a film set. You need to be able to take stock of the emotions that are happening around you and know how to handle them in the future, right? And then after that, of course, there's always been Simmons, who's taught me a lot about the technical aspect of film and live event production. There are things that I wouldn't be able to do for the class this year if I didn't know I could do them, and I learned that from Simmons. David Cattell, I hate to say it because I don't feel like I can compare to him at all, but he kind of was like the me version that I had when I was going to the program. And man, he's amazing. I learned a lot about writing from him, a lot about what it takes to be both a leader, but also just a creative in general, working with other people and not just bottling everything to yourself and working on sharing that creativity and getting people on board. And that's something I'll never forget. And he's always and always will continue to be a big inspiration for everything I do. The biggest thing that I took away from APA was the concept of making your own team. Because I think when you're in high school, you kind of meet people and they're kind of have an interest that you have and you kind of get along, right? In MMET, it was very much so, you have people who want to do this career path. These are people you're going to be bumping into at events and on sets and stuff, and you won't know until you're there, right? So building that network and building that team is super important, and it's something and I say this as a takeaway, not because I was really good at that, because I was really bad. I used to be very separate and isolated, and not because of anyone else, but because of me. I used to isolate myself a lot. And now that I'm working on a lot more things that are team-oriented, I wish I didn't. Because I think that's not how movies are made, and that's not how this career and industry works. It's all about working together as a team. And so while I'm working at MMET right now, it's one of the biggest things I'm trying to drive home in terms of teamwork and working together and knowing that no matter what happens, someone else in the same room has your back. Right now, a lot of the college classes I'm going to, I know everything. And I don't mean that in I'm a genius. I mean that in terms of hey, we need to move a camera over here, and someone's like, it's not moving. I'm like, it's locked. You gotta unlock the camera. It gives me a starting place, right? And that's not even talking about almost every set I've ever been on. I'm gonna think oh, you're 28 or something. I'm like, no, I'm 22. It's giving me such a big head start on doing what I want to do. And it's also given me a way to look at things from a different perspective too, right? Because now I'm not looking at it from I want to make movies kind of perspective on a set. I'm looking at it from who are the people that I can work with in the future, right? And I learned that from here. And I think that mentality of being on the same team is something not a lot of people figure out until halfway through college. And it's something I figured out almost immediately looking back after leaving. So I think that in and of itself was one of the biggest boons for the program, and also something that I think all of our students are doing really well, building those connections and building those future crews now instead of later. And a great example of that is the fact that, look at where we are right now. Behind that camera right now is a student. In front of me over here is another student reading me questions and actually interviewing me in the actual interview process that you would do on any sort of news network. This is incredible, And the fact that it's happening now, right? And not, even 5 years down the line, it's your first time doing this, gives you such a leg up on, I hate to say competition, but this is a competitive industry, right? There are many times where you're gonna get offered the same job as the person sitting next to you, and the only difference you'll have is that you did this program. And you can say that, like I've dealt with cameras before, I've worked with microphones before, I've worked with talent before, I know how to mic someone up, I know how to set up a camera to record on its own, I know how to switch a switcher, knowing how to do these things is going to give you such a leg up on the competition, and I don't think I would have been in the same place if I didn't do this program. In fact, the first ever job I got out of this program, besides working here, was actually doing live event camera work, which led me to be doing live event directing, right, at the UC Fair, to the point where I got offered a job doing the arena at the UC Fair. The arena, yeah, that arena over there, and I got offered to do that job of directing video there, and it's like instantly there is a difference, and when you're going down this path in this industry, you will be able to see it. You may not be able to see it now, but it comes out like in the weirdest ways, different places. Like I'm telling you, I was young. I mean, I still am young. Like, it was really like, I'm gonna put you on this graduation gig to see how you like interact with everyone, right? Super nervous, did that, and they're like, great, we're gonna throw you on UC Fair. I did that job when I was 20, and I was like, okay, this is scary, because you always will be begging and asking for those moments to prove yourself, just as a creative, or especially for like film people or like TV people. You want to be able to say, I can do this, and then you're given that actual choice and chance. Oh God, like, is this actually going to work out in a way I need it to? And so I'll be honest, my camera work there was good, but it wasn't, I wasn't happy. I wasn't like, this is amazing, But then I got offered they heard about the fact that I did this program and I did live event directing in this program, and they were like, do you want to do that at the fair? Like, someone's sick, we need you to fly in. And I was like, yeah, sure. Did it, and then I got offered immediately, like within the next 2 weeks after that run, they're like, hey, do you want to work with the Henson Company on Not Scary Farm? And I was, yeah, I do. And so it really is just like people look at you as a professional after coming through this program, because you are one, you're ready. You're ready. And that's what the program taught me, is that I'm ready. So, or if you're thinking about doing film or any sort of live event production in the future should do, it's Campus Update. Campus Update is probably the most free form, but also the most instructive class in terms of technical, right? In the digital media class, which is back now finally, like officially up and running, we talk a lot about the creative, right? Which is important. I think you get a job, an above the line job, meaning a job where you're going to be kind of like set for life based on the creative, right? Whereas a technical job, you're gonna always be offered, right? So knowing that technical job and knowing the technical jargon of this is an SDI and I know why the XLR isn't working, isn't connecting right? Knowing at least those little things, if you don't understand anything I just said, right, that's something to learn now because they can get you a job. I've been given jobs, like, this is not a joke. 2 weeks ago, I got offered a job just to run Ethernet cable. They didn't have someone who understood how to run Ethernet cable. That was the job, right? And I'm not saying we focus on Ethernet cable in this class, but it's something to consider, learn the technical aspect early. And I'm lucky because I've always been a person, and this class has always taught me to be able to learn on the fly. So in general, I think Campus Update is a class that if you are thinking of not taking, I would take. I think if you are interested in the technical aspect of this, you should take it, absolutely.